There comes a moment in every man's life when the noise finally becomes unbearable. Not the noise outside, the noise within. The constant pressure to perform, to smile when the soul feels exhausted, to keep moving while something deep inside quietly dies. You wake up before the sun rises, not because you are driven by purpose, but because life has trained you into survival. The alarm rings, the body moves, the mind obeys. Another day begins exactly like the last one. Coffee, traffic, dead conversations, endless notifications. You laugh at things that no longer make you feel anything. You sit across from people who know your name, but have never truly seen your soul. And somewhere in the middle of another ordinary day, a terrifying realization begins to whisper inside your chest. You are alive, but you are not living. Most men never admit this. They bury it beneath distractions. They numb it with entertainment. They silence it with alcohol, meaningless pleasure, endless scrolling, fake ambition, temporary validation. But pain has a strange intelligence. No matter how deeply you hide it, pain waits, quietly, patiently, until one day it forces you to face yourself. Maybe it happens after betrayal. Maybe after heartbreak. Maybe after years of sacrificing yourself for people who only loved the version of you that was useful. Or maybe it happens in silence. The kind of silence that arrives late at night, when the world finally stops moving, and you are left alone with your own thoughts. That is the moment the awakening begins. Not when life becomes easier, but when you become tired of betraying yourself. The Stoics understood this long before modern civilization drowned itself in noise. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, ruler of armies, the most powerful man on earth, still wrote private notes about loneliness, fear, exhaustion, and the struggle to remain disciplined in a collapsing world. He understood something most people never learn. A man can possess everything externally and still feel empty internally. Because peace does not come from possessions. It comes from mastery. And mastery begins in suffering. The modern world teaches you to escape pain. Stoicism teaches you to walk directly through it. That is why society feels weak. People avoid discomfort at all costs. They fear silence. They fear solitude. They fear boredom. Most of all, they fear themselves. Look around. People cannot sit alone for 10 minutes without reaching for a screen. They can't handle rejection without collapsing emotionally. They can't control anger, lust, envy, comparison, anxiety. Their emotions own them. And when emotions control the mind, chaos controls life. But the Stoic walks differently. He understands that suffering is not punishment. Suffering is revelation. Pain reveals attachment. Pain reveals weakness. Pain reveals illusion. The breakup reveals dependency. The failure reveals arrogance. The loneliness reveals the relationship you abandoned with yourself. And the strongest men are not the ones who avoid pain. They are the ones who allow pain. The moment a man stops blaming the world, his transformation begins. Most people wait for motivation before they change their lives. But motivation is fragile. It disappears the moment life becomes uncomfortable. Discipline is different. Discipline stays when emotions leave. It wakes you up before sunrise when your body wants comfort. It forces you to continue when nobody is watching. It teaches you that greatness is not built through inspiration, but through repetition. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet every morning he battled the same resistance modern men face today: fatigue, doubt, distraction. But he rose anyway, not because he felt powerful,
but because duty mattered more than comfort. That is the difference between weak minds and strong minds. Weak minds chase feelings. Strong minds follow principles. A weak mind reacts instantly. It loses control in anger, seeks validation from strangers, and collapses under pressure. But a stoic man remains calm while others lose control. He understands that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent rulers. Silence becomes his weapon. In a noisy world, silence is power. Most people speak too much because they fear stillness. They fill every empty space with noise, distraction, and meaningless conversation. But the disciplined man learns to observe more than he speaks.
The moment a man stops blaming the world, his transformation begins. Most people wait for motivation before they change their lives, but motivation is fragile. It disappears the moment life becomes uncomfortable. Discipline is different. Discipline stays when emotions leave. It wakes you up before sunrise when your body wants comfort. It forces you to continue when nobody is watching. It teaches you that greatness is not built through inspiration, but through repetition. But the disciplined man learns to observe more than he speaks. He does not waste energy trying to prove himself to everyone. His confidence is quiet. His presence is steady. And because of that, his words carry weight. There is something powerful about a man who can remain calm in chaos. Someone insults him, yet he stays composed. Life becomes difficult, yet he remains focused. Others panic, yet his mind stays clear. That level of control is not natural. It is trained. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. Every early morning, every workout, every moment you resist distraction builds mental toughness. You begin proving to yourself that your mind is stronger than your impulses. And slowly, confidence begins to grow. Not loud confidence, not arrogant confidence. Real confidence. The kind built through suffering, consistency, and self-control. The Stoics believed hardship was necessary because comfort weakens the soul. Pain teaches endurance. Loneliness teaches independence.
Silence teaches awareness. That is why disciplined men become emotionally unshakable. They stop seeking validation. They stop reacting to every opinion. They stop allowing temporary emotions to control permanent decisions. Instead, they master themselves. And once a man masters himself, the world loses control over him. This path is not easy. You will lose people along the way. Some will not understand your growth. Others will feel uncomfortable watching you become stronger. But the Stoic accepts this reality. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you forever. Sometimes solitude is necessary for transformation. In silence, you discover who you truly are beneath the noise of society. You begin hearing your own thoughts clearly. You begin protecting your peace. And eventually, you realize something powerful. Inner peace is earned, not given. It is built through discipline, built through restraint, built through emotional control. The world will always test you. There will always be chaos, distractions, and pain. But a disciplined mind remains steady through all of it. Because true strength is not physical power alone. True strength is controlling yourself when life tries to break you. And that is the beginning of inner power.
After enough pain, discipline, and silence, something inside you begins to change. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop depending on the world to feel whole. And for the first time, you begin to experience real inner peace. Not temporary happiness, not excitement. Peace. The Stoics believed true power comes from mastering yourself, because when a man controls his mind, the world loses its ability to control him. Most people spend their lives trying to change external things. They want people to understand them, life to become easier, and circumstances to go their way. But Stoicism teaches a different truth. You cannot control everything around you. You can only control yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions. And that realization changes everything. A Stoic man remains calm when life becomes difficult. He understands that pain is part of existence. Loss is part of existence. Change is part of existence. Instead of resisting reality, he learns to move through it with strength and wisdom. That is why he becomes emotionally untouchable. Not because he feels nothing, but because he no longer allows emotions to dominate his life. He chooses peace over chaos.
Discipline over comfort. Purpose over distraction. And slowly, he becomes stronger than the person he used to be. The Stoic also understands the value of solitude. In silence, he reconnects with himself. Away from noise, pressure, and constant distraction, he discovers clarity. He learns who he truly is beneath the expectations of society. And in that solitude, confidence is born. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that does not need attention to feel powerful. As time passes, the Stoic stops fearing loneliness, failure, or judgment. Life tested him, and he survived. The pain that once broke him became the wisdom that rebuilt him. That is the transformation. A weak mind reacts. A strong mind observes. The world will continue chasing noise, pleasure, and validation, but the Stoic chooses discipline, silence, and self-mastery. Because real freedom is not controlling the world. Real freedom is controlling yourself. And once you master yourself, nothing outside of you can destroy your peace again.